Welcome to the Green Room. I'm Jacoby Brown, singer songwriter and occasional actor out here in LA. I've been in the industry full time for 8 years now. I toured with Tyler Perry, had a few small roles in TV and film, been in a few commercials, had my songs in a few TV shows. My biggest piece of advice would be to never be afraid to express yourself and create what you want to create. Don't be afraid to step outside the box and challenge the norms. You have to know that not everybody's going to like what you create, and that's okay. Your art isn't for everybody. As long as you are creating from a place of passion and something that you believe in, there will be people who will appreciate it and connect with it. So don't worry about trying to do it the right way or make it good enough so that people will like it. Just do you, create, believe in it, and those who are meant to receive it will. But you have to love it. Do you love it? I'm sure you do.
Why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture? To me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. My job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
We here are about to celebrate. Let's clap it up. We're gonna get into our first segment of the night. But before we do that, let us bow our heads and close our eyes for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us here this evening to celebrate our art, celebrate our stories, and celebrate movies that glorify you, glorify creativity, and glorify the gifts that you have given us. Please be with all the filmmakers and all the films, and please just help us to have fun tonight and enjoy the creativity that you've given us. In your name we pray, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, you all did not come to hear me play a mediocre joke, so we're gonna get started with the first film block of the night. Clap it up.
What is love? According to Webster, love is a noun, a strong affection for another rising out of kinship or personal ties, or attraction based on sexual desire. Ew. Affection or tenderness felt by lovers. Double ill. Assurance based on affection. It's also a verb. To feel. To feel, but to feel what? Affection. But what is affection? A feeling of liking and caring for someone or something. Tender attachment. Oh, well.
Why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture? To me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean, and I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. My job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Jonathan, find your mother.
What is love? According to Webster, love is a noun. A strong affection for another rising out of kinship or personal ties. Or attraction based on sexual desire. Ew. Affection or tenderness felt by lovers. Double ill. Assurance based on affection. It's also a verb. To feel. To feel, but to feel what? Affection. But what is affection? A feeling of liking and caring for someone or something. Tender attachment. Oh, well, anyone can feel that. So why is love so special? Why does it make some people recoil but also do cartwheels and crap? I'm so confused. Second opinion? What does love mean to other people? Sister? Okay. Friend? I think that was too big to be one thing. But it depends on the person you spend time with, the person you like, also how you treat yourself. Okay. How I treat myself. Like self-care. But self-care is a thing people emphasize only when they don't have someone else to love. All of those take yourself out and love yourself videos are to distract you from the fact that no one else would do those things or has done those things for you, so you do them yourself. I mean, taking myself out is nice, but staring at an empty chair in front of me is kind of painful. But love must be something so important that not having it can make someone feel incomplete. So what is it? What is love? What is it really? Is it the ability to wake up one morning and think of someone else? Someone at your fingertips? To look at you and smile at you? The idea is so obvious and yet so vague. It's this all-encompassing thing that is not just written to the fabric of our being, but the fabric of the universe. Companionship, partnership, love, what is it, really? Maybe I should go back to the beginning. Okay, not too far back, but maybe I should start with mine. Okay, Dad, are you ready for your first question?
I'm ready for my first question.
Okay, your first question is, when did you know you were in love with Mom and how?
You know, there are probably a lot of things that I can recall with my very brief memory or short memory about me remembering falling in love with your mother. There was a time where we were at Lake Chickamauga. Is that the right name of the lake? Chickamauga Dam. We were at Chickamauga Dam and we had a really nice time there, and that was the beginning. And there was another time we were sitting in the car and she said to me, you know, Mozart, outside of my dad and my brother, you're the only other man that I love. Right there. Yeah. And I could say that never in my years, I've had girlfriends. The corny things that I did to show my appreciation and like and love for your mother were just indication for myself, man, you're gonna be this corny for this woman? You must really, really, really love her. So those are instances, moments, experiences that I had that were me falling in love with your mother.
Question 2. What would you say to your younger self who was falling in love?
I think this one is easy because I was just thinking about it before. I would say to my younger self, keep being corny, meaning all these things that I was doing to show her I loved her, blasting music as she's walking down the sidewalk, putting her gifts in display with a note on it for other people to see, just embarrassing things for me, but they were for her, so I didn't worry about the embarrassment part. I would say you got to keep doing those things. Just continue to do those things, and you'll continue to grow in love and appreciation as you do those things. I'd also say to my younger self, you don't need to worry about anything, because your love and your connection and your whatever, your togetherness, it will grow as you spend more time together. It's not going to fade away.
How would you describe your love for her?
That's a difficult one, actually. And I tried thinking about it, and I couldn't. I would describe my love for your mother just as it's more than an emotion. And because if I'm describing my love for your mother right now, that means it is 32 years later. So it's surpassed emotions, it's surpassed infatuation, it's surpassed butterflies in your stomach. It is commitment, it is liking, it is loving through service, through action, through unselfish deeds. I describe my love for your mother as not needing to harass her about the little things that bother me. She likes that one. No, but seriously, my love for your mother is, I think it's kind of undescribable. It's just an experience, because she and I have been through so much stuff that it's indescribable. It's just a space that is just for her and I. You and your sister ain't even part of the equation.
Thanks, man. If you could use one adjective, just one.
One adjective to describe my love for your mother. Unselfish.
Unselfish. Growing up, I had the pleasure of watching my parents be in love, and unselfish is the word. It's always been the word. They made me to be unselfish, and their love only sprouted my desire for unselfish love. But I have it, don't I? Love, I've heard the word, and it wasn't said by him. It was said by them. Them. I said it already. Love encompasses so much of our why. Our reasons for being. We were all made because someone felt love. I felt love in many forms. A mother to a daughter, a father to a daughter, a sister to a sister, a friend to a friend. I'm not missing anything. I think about them. I think about them all the time. But to say that I've never felt love would leave them where I've been. Leave them with my cross in the bed I barely made to lie in. They aren't placeholders. They aren't frauds. They aren't ghosts. They're mine. And until he comes, they'll get all my love.
You ain't got no friends. You have no idea what you're doing. You don't know what you doing. You ain't got no broke. Nobody love you. Doing such a bad. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I know we're all enjoying the shows, the films that are showing. However, I do have a recommendation for the people in the back. There are seats all around. Could you please kindly fill those seats, please, for me? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fred?
James? What are you doing here?
My bad, bro. I was walking down the hallway and I heard something playing in here.
Nah, that's my bad, bro.
Nah, you good, bro. Could I watch with you?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Sit down.
All right, bet. Bro, it's been a minute since I seen you, man. Where you been?
I've been here, bro.
What, in this cinema?
Yes, bro. I've been in the cinema.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like, you realize how long you been in here, bro? You kind of bugging out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what could you possibly be doing in here for so long?
I mean, I'm just watching this, bro. I'm watching it over and over and over again.
I can see that, but I mean, like, this is all you.
Exactly. See, it's not just me, though. It's the old me. Every little sequence has something I look forward to.
I got you. I heard you, but What exactly is it that you're looking forward to?
I mean, most time I just come here for the memories. And sometimes I also come here for the feeling.
But keep it a buck with me, bro. Every time you replay this, do you ever really capture that feeling?
I mean, sometimes I do. But most time I come here and I end up feeling bitter. But you know, it's better to feel something than nothing at all, you know?
Or, I mean, maybe this is holding you back from something greater.
He's lying.
Do you really think this fool will ever understand the pleasure you receive from reminiscing? If anything, you should be proud for being able to face your past.
How is this holding me back from something better? If anything, I'm facing my past.
Whoa, bro. Hold on, I'm gonna need you to relax. There's no need to get aggressive. But this is not facing your past. You're just using this as an excuse to not move forward in life. You're not progressing.
You think so?
Yeah, bro, because I'm not gonna lie, I understand it, you know. I completely understand wanting to reminisce and think about the old days, think about how things used to be. It's a beautiful thing, but when you obsess over all that you once were, you lose sight of all that you can become.
You see, this is how they get you. You're not stuck in the past. You're just acknowledging the things that shaped you. Yeah, it looks like an obsession, but in reality, all you're doing is connecting. Connecting with your past and your memories. It's all a reminder of who you used to be.
You know, you keep saying I'm obsessed, but I'm not obsessed. I'm just connecting back to my memories.
I mean, listen, bro. What are you doing after you connect to those memories? I mean, are you using them as opportunities, you know, teachable moments to learn and grow from, or are you just clinging to this cycle? At some point, bro, you gotta wake up. You gotta realize that this can't be healthy for you. You're creating an addiction that's holding you back.
He's lying. There's no problem with what you're doing. He's just trying to undermine your happiness. There's no such thing as being addicted to nostalgia. People like him will never understand.
I don't know what to do.
Listen, bro. I've been there, all right? All of this, you can't stay here forever reliving the same memories, playing the same moments over and over and over again. Eventually, you gotta let go.
give a round of applause for the wonderful filmmakers in this segment. I'm going to call them down. The members of these most recent projects, I'm going to invite them to join me for our Q&A session. It was good, man. It was good. I reminisced on a lot. I will say, man, the Stevenson love story performance, man, it broke my heart. It was a lot. I want to talk about that. But yeah, we're going to invite them all down. We have the writer and director of Nostalgia. We have one of our main actors from Just Try Peace. And then we have our writer and director from Origins of Love. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. Come on down. Join me. As our mics come, I want to just say I deeply enjoyed all of these movies. I feel like a lot of these films were very theme heavy. Like, I love films that dissect an idea, like, you know, The Pursuit of Happinesses or The Crazy Stupid Loves or whatnot. So I want to start with inspiration. Now, before we do that, I want everyone to introduce themselves and tell us what your role was on which film, on each film.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frederick Nichols. I am the writer, director, producer, and everything in between for my first short film.
Okay. I'm Alex Porcina. I was the everything on the Origins of Love Part 1.
Hello, everyone. My name is Steven St. Pierre. I was the actor for Let's Just Try Peace.
All right. Yeah. Loved all these films. So let's start at the inspiration point, right? A lot of these films dissect ideas. Alex, I loved the dissection of love. It felt like a dissertation. It felt like a documentary. It felt like one of those movies that start with a thesis. What I want to ask about you is not just what was the inspiration of your film, but what was the element you started with first, right? So it's like, we talk about your parents and we talk about what is love. We talk about questions. When you started this, I don't know if this was an assignment or whatever, what was in your head first when you start with this movie?
A story.
Okay.
I'm a writer. Like, I'm always writing something. Like, if I'm on my phone, I'm writing something. And I noticed, like, a few months ago that, like, everything I wrote always had a baseline of love. Either the person loved another person, where they are, their friends, something. I was like, oh, so love is a common denominator, and then you look at life, and love is a common denominator of everything. So I was like, what if I made a thing about that? And then I started writing it, and I was like, it's going to be so good. And then a month ago, I was like, this is garbage. And then I ended up making all of that, like the visuals, like without a camera. There's 2 shots with a camera in there, and everything else is just like shots from my phone and stuff I made on Canva. So yeah, I just like the idea of love. It makes me think a lot. I think about it all the time, which is funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I got to dig into that part because you say you started with I want to start with love, but then every filmmaker has the point in their process where they go, this is trash, right? I've had that with many films. But to me, it doesn't sound like an insecurity. It sounds like a writer's block, or it sounds like a challenge. When you're writing or producing or directing movies, when you're at that moment where it's like, this is stuck, it sounds like you were stuck. What was the moment when you were stuck? Was it before I decided I want to change this to a story about my parents? Was it I'm asking the question of what is love and I don't know what the answer is? What is the moment that we were stuck in that film?
It was after I interviewed my dad. Shout out, hi, Dad.
A round of applause for our actors in the film, our subjects.
Yeah, like after I interviewed him, I was like, wow, this is really good. How do I talk about this? Because I don't know about any of this. like loving another person and describing it the way that he did. I don't know what that means.
You have a relationship with both of your parents. Why did we choose your dad?
because he was probably more willing to do it. My mom, she is a very loving person, but she loves on the inside. She's like, I love you very much over there, you know? And I didn't think that she was going to want to sit there and answer these questions. I asked her if she wanted to do it, but she was like, yeah. No.
Well, give a round of applause for our amazing subjects and them letting us invest in their story. Stevenson, Stevie, man, you broke my heart in that performance, brother, I gotta say. Let me tell you something. So we were talking about love. We were talking about the questions we ask and the story of it and figuring out what it is. What were we digging into in our performances? I'm picking on you. Were there personal stories that we were looking at? Or tell us about the inspiration of this performance. I'll put him on the spot.
He did. Pain, man.
Yeah.
Honestly. I kind of was like, when he was telling me, I'm like, just the moments like, oh, your girlfriend basically broke up with you in the middle of nowhere, and then she's with a whole another guy. I'm just like, dang, you know, it's kind of, how do you even react to it? Like, it's rage at first, but then it's like, you're just by yourself now. Like, you're kind of in your head about, what did I do wrong, all these things. But, like, kind of what I was thinking throughout the film was, like, we do this a lot where when we go through struggles, we try to handle it by ourselves, right? And then, like, when we do that, it either turns into, like, a whole stress thing or, like, we overthink. And a lot of things just go on from that, right? But then, like, for his lesson, what Kyle was trying to do, just trying peace, literally going to God, right? It's like, for those who are religious or not religious, right? It's just like, there's moments where we handle it by ourselves when we could actually go to Christ to, like, help us find that type of peace instead of just staying sheltered. So, I mean, I was kind of just thinking, like, I'm sheltered and just compressed.
How did your motivation shift when we started going to the outdoor scene? I loved how we pivoted from black and white and going to color when we met outside. First, I don't know if you can tell us anything about the choice to go outside when we get into, I want to say, the peace element of the film. But what was your motivation when we're shooting those scenes? Half the movie you're sad, and then we're going to a different character arc.
I think, and I'm speaking for Kyle probably, but maybe, like, the thought process was we were in a space at first where we weren't, like, how you say, like, excluded from everyone else. So when we went outside, it was more of an isolation spot where you could take time to, like, either pray or, like, just pull yourself together in that moment of stress. So for me, it was kind of just like, this is a great view, because I never been there. So I was just like, this is actually pretty nice. I can actually, like, relax and just sit here and vibe and just look at the view. So it was kind of just the fact that I actually enjoyed the view. It was able to, like, it was easy to just get into character that way.
Yeah.
So
most of the films in this block, we spent a lot of time outside. I'm thinking about Fred, right, and nostalgia. I mean, so first of all, I want to say I might consider myself a nostalgia addict, as James's character said in the movie, right? What was the choice behind bringing you versus you, but putting them outside? I feel like there's a lot of intentional choices in this film. Tell me about that one.
First, I want to talk about how it's personal to me, and that's the whole point of the film. I'm a pastor's kid, so
shout out pastor's kids. Woo, woo, woo!
I do a lot of
we made it.
We
made it.
I do a lot of
moving.
And halfway through high school is the first time I moved countries. I'm Canadian, and I moved to the United States. Shout out to my people in the back, but I moved to the United States when I was about 15, and throughout my process there, or throughout my first couple of years there, I was like, dang, like, I'm really here. I'm missing out on, like, everything that's going back home, and I'd find myself get put in these spaces where I was like, what could have been if I didn't leave? What are they doing? Like, they're going on, their life is moving on without me, and I was blind to the opportunities that were in front of me. For the outside question, I needed some type of atmosphere to put in the film that wasn't just a cinema, something that wasn't in an enclosed space. And when you think about your conscience, when you think about, especially a lot of us here who are deep thinkers, it feels like our mind's very open, a very open space. So the outside was like a perfect area to, like, encapsulate the inner dialogue between Fred and his counterpart.
And then I also love that we go inside to go to the place where we're watching the memories. Before making this film, what was your relationship with nostalgia? and what was your relationship with nostalgia afterwards?
Before the film, it was more of like a retreat.
Okay.
Like if I was overworked, or if I was tired, if I didn't want to do anything, or if I was regretting life choices, I would go back to, dang, this time was really good. Like I really enjoyed what I was doing back during high school, or what I was doing back freshman year of college, all those things. And, it really became like a crutch, I would say. I know we talk a lot about how nostalgia is. We talk about how a lot of how nostalgia is something that's very positive, but when you obsess over things, it can become very negative. And so I use the film as a therapy to answer the questions that I had about myself and how I was treating nostalgia. To speak about how I felt after, there's an alternate ending to this film that I originally wrote.
Wow.
And it's where Fred leaves the cinema with James. But I couldn't put myself to produce that because that's not how I felt at the moment.
This guy's deep, man. I like this kid. I met this guy on Friday. I was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, this guy's good.
But the reality is, like, sometimes the right thing to do. It's just about letting go. And at the moment that I created this film, I was struggling to let go. But as I had time to rewatch it and deal with my feelings about how I feel about nostalgia and all the things, and I'm able to appreciate what James said in the film. I'm able to appreciate what was, but I'm also looking forward to what's coming as well. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the intentional execution here, because I know you guys are intentional with it. You talk about therapy session. I'm seeing a lot of shots of body parts. Every time we're patting on the shoulder, we're seeing you walk into the room, some really close shots. I see your eyes a lot, which makes me jealous of your glasses because we get a magnifying thing with it, right? What's the thought process behind that, right? And what are we trying to convey with that?
For all the close shots, from time to time, you get, especially with what I was dealing with in terms of nostalgia, you get a sort of imposter syndrome. Like you're there, but you're not really there. So you're not seeing the full picture. And that's how I kind of portrayed it in the film. The close shots, everything is yeah, he's here, he's watching the film, but is he really watching it? Mm. And yeah.
And when I think of, not seeing the full picture, I'm thinking of Origins of Love, Alex, because really, outside of the B-roll archival footage, we never see you. Yeah. We see you behind the lens of a bright light. Was that intentional? Why are we doing that? Tell me about that.
It was intentional.
Okay.
That shot was me and Steve. Hi, Steve. We were here.
Multifacinated.
Yeah, the beginning
Fascinated? I don't know. They flew me to be here. I don't know.
The beginning of this week, it was me in here in the studio editing this late at night, and then I would get up and stretch, and then there's a light. I'm like, hello? And then Steve's like, hey, why are you here? I don't know. And then I asked him to watch, and he's like, hey, you want to add transitions? And I was like, sure. And then we pulled out an old light, and then we set up a little box and put a tablecloth on it, and we just shine the light into the lens.
Yeah.
And then when I got the 5 minutes of B-roll, we were just sitting there, we were mumbling and just moving our arms and stuff. And then I looked at it, I was like, this is kind of good. Because it's just a silhouette of a guy and a girl. And I was like, if you don't think about it, it could be me having a conversation with my dad, right? But also, you don't see me because I can't identify with what he's talking about, I came from it. I'm a result of that unselfish love, but I don't have it, Yeah. And that's when I talk about, there's another shot of me that is really blurry. When I talk about my desire for it, I don't have it, don't have a clear image of it, But I'm just that little light is kind of hope kind of thing, because I'm hoping for it, but I'm not. I can't beg.
Snap your fingers. Do your dance. You can do it all by yourself. Great answer. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, that's it. You got it, bro.
Tell me about you mentioned earlier that you're always writing, right? I can tell that because you're a very witty writer. I feel like we'd get along in a writer's room very well. The choice of editing the questions with the images, the double U, where'd that choice come from? Did we know we're initially going to do it with pictures and editing and all that stuff with the archival footage? Tell me about how that came to be.
I like editing with pictures. The ill W is just like an inside joke with people who know me.
Okay.
If you're in love in front of me, you suck. All of you, raise your hand if you're in love. Guys, you're losers. Anyway, I just like, I love like showing the pictures and like the visualizations with like the magazine cutout letters, like for obvious and vague and what is love, is because there's a lot of different interpretations of it, which is what I grabbed. Those two quotes, one was from my older sister, and then one was from Samlin. Where's Samlin? Hi, Samlin. I don't know where she is. But I interviewed those two and I asked them, what's love to them? You know, and I got two different answers because it's vague. Love is vague. It's very vague. You may think you know what it is. You don't. But it's a thing that varies between people, and that's why it's beautiful. You know? Like, for all of us Christians out there, God is love, you know? And then you go, I love this, I love that, I love you, I don't love you, things like that, you know? It's just like, that's fascinating to me, like the ability to just like throw the word around and it can mean everything and it can mean nothing at the same time.
Which is why, in the understanding of it being vague and not really having experience with it, now I understand why when we see Sam's quote, it's like, what does it say? Where you're reading it, that was really good too. As we get ready for our next film segment, I want to thank you all for sitting down with me genuinely. But before we go, I want to hear, what is the biggest lesson in filmmaking you learned in your project or performing? Tell us what you learned.
To just do it. I was talking about this for so long, and everyone's like, this is such a good idea. What? And I was like, I don't know. Just do it. Because then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And Fred was like, just do it, bro. So I did it. Because Fred's a very impactful guy. So just like, if you have an idea and you can't stop thinking about it, it's often from God. Just do it, guys.
If you have an idea, but you can't stop thinking about it, it's often from God.
Two things. Number one, it coincides with what she said, just do it. I came here last year to the green room and I was watching all the films. I was like, dang, like, I low-key want to do this. So I was like, I need to make sure something's ready so like next time it comes around, I'm ready. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is ask for help. I found myself a lot of time, this short film of mine was pretty much just me, a camera, my phone for audio, and my friend. And I was realizing, like, the first time we started shooting, I was just like, dang, there's a lot that needs to get done before we start shooting. If I had a crew, it'd be a lot easier. But regardless of your occupation and what you plan to do, just, you know, ask for help. It's important.
You know, I wish I could say like that's something that's deep, but I guess.
Make it plain, brother. Make it plain.
All right, hold on. Okay. So
love sucks. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, when it comes to acting, I'm usually the person behind the camera, so it was kind of like a nerve-wracking thing to get into that character. So acting really kind of helped me personally to like get that other character out. Like, especially for him, like, he was hurt, right? So, don't hate me, but, like, you know, when dudes, we put a little tough character from time to time. So, I was kind of, like, in the mindset of, like, dang, you got me being emotional, bro. I don't really like that. But kind of acting kind of, like, if you get the opportunity, take it. Because, you know, you're never not going to learn something new from acting a whole nother character, so.
Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see what's next. Give a round of applause for our filmmakers. And we are about to get into our next segment of films. Thank you guys so much.
It didn't hit all at once. Not like a climax in a story. Just silence. And the blinking cursor of unfinished work. My graduation. Delayed.
Rolling.
I've spent years behind the scenes, producing, writing, directing in my own way. One short film, one dream. Every other project, I helped bring someone else's vision to life. I know chaos. I know control. I know storytelling. But now, the spaces where I should be celebrating feel quiet. The May ending isn't happening. Not yet.
How do you know? Hear me when I say this. You are not off track. And it's easy to say it's just a date, but it's not. But I don't want this moment to define you, okay?
And that's what it feels like. Pause. Not punishment. Delay. Not denial. I've written stories that never made it to screen. I've helped make stories that weren't mine, but I treated them like they were. Maybe the perfect ending didn't happen this semester, but I've been producing my own persistence. I'm not just one person in this story. I've worked with these faces before. Classmates, collaborators, friends. Degree or not, the work speaks. They see it. And I know it too. Delayed? Maybe. Denied? Never. I am the story. And I'm just getting started.
You need to understand how hard it was for me when my father died. I tried to move on, pretend I was okay.
Seems folks just come to repass for the food.
And you?
I'm here to see about you.
It's not much to see.
I disagree.
He knew me better than anyone. And after hearing what everybody had to say up there about him today, I realized I didn't know him.
You knew him. You knew him, and it was real.
I wanted to forget him. It's how he looks at me. Every day was another chance to see him. Every night, I dreamed the same dream. We'd sway back and forth, frozen in time.
I have a responsibility, a mission that I'm called to. I cannot jeopardize that. I cannot leave her.
All I have now are nightmares.
I try to let go.
Every night I call out, but no answers. I try to stay away, but here I am. I needed to know it was real.
You'll never be real to him. Neither of us will be. The question now is, how do I move forward?
I don't know I don't know how to do that.
Start from the beginning.
a hand to this block of films. So, as we are back in our corner side Q&A, I'm going to invite our filmmakers up from these last films to come up. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Give them a hand as they stride all down. Applause and all. In our beautiful shades of brown. In our beautiful shades of brown. And we have had the pleasure, I don't know if anyone was here for our 3 p.m. masterclass on Friday yesterday. Cool, some hands in the back. We had the pleasure of having a masterclass by one of my favorite directors and filmmakers who will tell you a lot about his experience, Mr. Theo Brown. He is going to be leading out on this second Q&A. Welcome to the floor, the man of the hour. Let me hand you this mic.
Hey guys, how is everybody doing? What an incredible, incredible, incredible block of films. I'm hoping that we can even get the last one up eventually because it's also so great. A little bit about myself. My name is Theo. I went to the school 2 decades ago, and I got to tell you, I would have done anything to be a part of an event like this. This is just such a special event, and thank you guys all for coming out to, as well as the filmmakers. It has been incredible, incredible to see. And just first starting out, why don't we have the filmmakers just introduce yourselves and your films?
Hi, my name is Lexus. I wrote and I acted in Delayed But Not Denied.
My name is Tristan. I wrote and direct Mr. Right.
Hi again, my name is Stevenson Pierre. I was the cinematographer for Mr. Right.
I think one of the strongest things that I noticed with everyone's films was how they utilize, especially cinematography, and use in telling their stories. My first question is for you, Lexus. The audience reaction to your story, I think, spoke for itself. I think we've all kind of felt that way. Can you tell me what was the process like in making this film? Because you acted in it, and you wrote it, but you didn't direct it. Yeah, can you just walk us through that?
Okay, so I had this idea last year. As you all know, like I said at the beginning, graduation delayed, and it's a personal story, and it's still ongoing. So I had this idea, and I finally decided, okay, I need to do this because not only is it about me not graduating, but it also could encourage someone else to keep going, even though graduation might not be the end plan for you. Maybe it's a job or trying to go to grad school. But yeah, I decided to just put it out there and be bold. And I asked my friend Hannah Browning to come and direct it for me. But she graciously did, and I appreciate her for that. So I just really wanted to tell my story, even if you didn't resonate with that specific thing. So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about then being in front of the camera? I mean, being directed by somebody else for something that's so personal. Like, what was your process like, approaching a scene, when you have to be in front of the camera?
Well, I give that up to my gracious director, Hannah, again. This is my first time acting in anything. I'm usually behind the camera, producing, ADing, whatever it may be. So I really had to be open and more vulnerable in this acting process because I've never acted before. But this is the feelings that I was showing here. I had internalized those for a while, so those being things that I needed to get out and be truthful to myself in those moments. So
I think it showed. Yeah. I think it showed. Incredible job. I'm glad both of you guys are here. I want to talk about the story, but first of all, we've got to talk about the framing of all your scenes in this film, especially making our main character kind of be blocked almost at times, showing very isolated on screen what they were feeling in the film. What was you guys' relationship like? Like who who's driving the framing? Is it starting as storyboards, or is it just something where you're taking the lead? Can you talk about that?
We had storyboards, so we took a lot of shots from movies that I like, and we kind of put them in a PowerPoint, really. And so we were like, we're gonna use this as a starting point, not to like copy them verbatim, but to use as inspiration. And Stevenson is so good at like what he does for real. He won't acknowledge it, but he really is, and he just picked it up right away. So I would tell him what I wanted. He would set it up. I would be like, oh, I want to move it, fix it a little bit over here, but it was really easy to work with him, honestly. Like he picked it up immediately. So.
I mean, I think like you said, that's great. But the basic thing that kind of was like based off the storyboard, how to make what that shot from that film like resonate with this film. So basically, for definitely when it came to lighting as well, it was like we had composition like Mr. Right, people would be on the right side, framing on how like for moments when Mr. Right was on the screen, he would basically be on the right side of the screen, right? And then for times when we would go for, I forgot her name.
For Trinity's character.
Yeah, Trinity's character. We would basically make sure, especially when she was in the office, she was on the right side, right? So it was a lot of moments of like kind of having like framing used as something to connect the characters, but also to have it as something where like we're in a different space with it. So kind of like you said, we used Shot Deck, and like we just saw a lot of shots that were in other films, but like using those shots was like really something easy for me to like put it into this film. So it was kind of cool.
What were some of your references? If you guys aren't familiar, Shot Deck is a website that kind of aggregates just movies and TV shows that professionals have taken screen grabs of the projects that you can say, oh, I like this scene from Moonlight, you can use like a reference image or something like that. So that's kind of what they're talking about. So yeah, I'm curious, like what were some of the references, images that you kind of maybe found yourself gravitating to?
Most of the references were from like Paul Thomas Anderson films. So like Phantom Thread, The Master, just how he frames his shots, especially Phantom Thread, because it's a very still movie. It's not a lot of moving shots. They're more so blocked off. It's like calm. And if you're familiar with him, he moved a lot in his earlier career, but I like the stiller version that he is now. So we kind of started there. There's other films that we looked at that I can't remember the name of, for like, specifically the church scenes for like The Veil and everything, like The Crown and stuff like that. So that's where we started.
I have a question back to you. Your co-star, Paulette, we had like a nice talk in the back about your film. What was that like acting alongside her, knowing that she played a role in a real world situation, a real world setting, but then you guys are like playing versions of yourselves as well?
It was interesting because when I first sent it to her over winter break, and I was like, I need you to read this, please, because I need you to like tell me if anything is wrong with it. But when she read it and I finally like got in her face about it, she was like, Alexis. And I was like, I don't understand why she's crying because I don't think it's that deep. But like after I shot this and after my rehearsals with Hannah, I was like, oh, that's why she's crying. Because it's personal. And I understood that like in hindsight. And I was like, yeah, this is me. This is not me playing somebody. This is really what I'm going through. And to have her there, it was really important because she knows my story. Yeah. So she's been there with me this whole time. And I was really grateful for her to do this with me, even though we cried our last tear yesterday. So,
this next question is actually for both of you guys, but I want you to start with this. A lot of times, when you're looking at a cut of your film, especially like maybe like the early cuts, if you're like me, sometimes you look at it and you're like, I just wasted a ton of time. This is not what I anticipated. I can never show this to anyone. For both of you guys, when did the viewing of the cut become real? Like, when did it turn that page and you're just like, oh, I'm starting to like, the clay is starting to take shape? When was that for you? Do you remember that moment if you were with Hannah, watching a cut or, yeah?
I actually told Hannah I didn't want to see it until like tonight. So
until tonight?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to see it. Not because didn't want to see myself on the screen, but I was like, I wanted to feel what the room was like after.
So like this was your first time, like?
Yeah, essentially with an audience, because I kind of like scrolled through it when they sent me like the final edit, and I was like, no, I don't want to. But yeah, this is like essentially like the first time I'm like seeing it. So yeah.
I mean, we all just saw it together. That's incredible. I mean, you saw the response. So
Yeah, and
wow.
my DP Kyle, he's not here tonight, but I trusted her and Kyle to like tell the story the way they read it on the page, and they put in the work. So I'm grateful for them. So yeah.
Yeah, they killed it. What about you guys? When in the process of like the editing process, you were the editor as well, right? So I guess you were staring with it a lot and probably ignoring text and stuff like that. What was that process like for you when you were like, okay, I think there's something here?
So this editing, man. Okay. So I switched on editing. So kind of at first, I was really letting it be like, what shots do you want? You place it, I'll put it where you want it, right? And then we watched a movie on his birthday. What was it? The Frankenstein's The Bride, basically. We watched that film, right? And after I watched it, I was like, I don't want to do this film no more. I want to dump it, we'll do something else later. But like after watching that film, it kind of gave me like insight on like, as an editor, yes, the director's like words is final, but at the same time, like you're putting the story together, right? And I wanted to make sure that like we were actually giving the message that we wanted to give, right? So literally, I was like, all right, man, listen, I know you have some thoughts, but I'm about to do a whole bunch, and you're gonna tell me how you feel about it after like I put this together, so we can then do the adjustments, right? And then even for the score, like, even Gates could laugh about this, but I literally had to bring my keyboard, like full keyboard, and connect it to the computer, and we were using like GarageBand. Literally just was playing through the movie, and it's just like, it was. At first, I was like, I wanted it to be done, but then I changed it to being like, I want to make sure people actually feel this, because if you know the story, then you know the story. But like, it's just the deeper meaning that the film has to us. We want to at least have it hit for whoever's watching. So, yeah.
For me, like everything he said was so true. The edit was definitely super long, really hard, late nights. But for me, it was probably when the music got in there and we saw the montage, because that was probably like my favorite piece of music. And so when the montage came, I was like, okay, it's not that bad. Because, as a director, like, you watch the film like 80 times and you're like, this sucks. Like, I hate watching this. But then when it got to that point, something like clicked for me. I was like, it's not that bad. So, yeah, I'm appreciative of everybody. Nyla, our producer's over there, she's like filming. She was in there with us, definitely locking in all those beautiful locations. That was her. So, yeah, it was definitely just had a bunch of help. But that was pretty much when the montage came up. I was like, okay, we can show this to people, I guess.
I love it. Let's give it up for our filmmakers one more time. Very special projects, just a very special block. I enjoyed watching them all. I believe I'm going to hand it back to Pax.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Give a hand for this panel. There's one more film in this block, and that last film was delayed, but it's not denied. All right. Yeah. So I introduce you, Curated, to be seen now.
To the celebration and hope that Black History Month brings. And on Holmes Avenue here in downtown Huntsville, the Savor Art Exhibition celebrates Black joy and resilience. The Savor Art Exhibition curated gallery is open Tuesday through Saturday, 228 Holmes Avenue. There's a lot of signage there that'll let you get in the building. It's the old Huntsville Times building. Okay, some dates we want to tell you about of which you need to make note. Some really cool ones here. Tomorrow night,
is Kevin Richardson. I am the co-founder, creative director of the Curated Gallery. My role in this exhibition, I wear many hats. The visual aspects, the experience throughout the exhibition, how people feel and experience as they walk through. It's all encapsulated in that. One of the biggest challenges bringing this exhibit to reality, I think there are a few, but one of the things would be funding. Now let's make sure it's lined up. And then I'm gonna give you this task of doing this. Yeah, this third one, skip that whole space. Just do 1, 2, somewhere right there. Yeah. So how much is that? Okay, don't move. Getting the community involved to show up, we found that it's been very impactful for the community and people enjoy it. But when it comes to the financial part, that's a little bit deeper discussion and people want to know why, what's the ROI, what's in it for me kind of thing. So one of the challenges would have been the finance. So if you're doing like this.
Oh, yeah.
So now let's measure that. Okay. If we can get one wall all the way tight. We'll leave it like this. I just don't want it to be dangerous. That looks perfect.
My name is Ashe Salah. Ashe means healing. It's also a manifestation. When you close out a statement, you say Ashe to give that statement power. Salah is the closing of that statement. So shall it be. The entire name, Ashe Salah, is an opening and closing manifestation statement. Whatever I put my mind to do, I'm going to do it. I am the founder and the director of the Curated Gallery. The Curated Gallery is a brand, it's a lifestyle, I should say, and the main goal is to create the opportunity for art to be lived, not just the particular space we put the art in. We want to be able to find spaces that are completely different from the last space. So peculiar spaces are what we're looking for, and we transform those into fine art galleries. It's all about curation. So we find an assortment of things, subjects, items, whatever that might be, and we collect them carefully and we craft them to present them in a way that it can be received as art.
Hello, my name is Jordan Fudge. I am the gallery coordinator as well as sales manager here at the Curated Gallery. What that means is I oversee the installation process here at the gallery as well as coordinate with artists. And lastly, I ensure that everyone who walks through these gallery doors has an engaging experience from start to finish. In the middle of the room, you'll see poems hanging down. A lot of these poems are intentionally printed backwards, not all of them. We want you to pick up the gold mirror and look in your reflection and bask in what you're reading. We want you to be able to enjoy the literary art that you're seeing. Organizing a month-long exhibition like this is a very intricate process. There's a lot of steps that go into it, starting with the planning process that starts months in advance. From the planning process, we have to curate the artists, in addition to figuring out the theme of the exhibition, install flooring, walls, so there's a lot of minor and major details that happen.
My name is Susanna Richardson, and I'm the gallery preparator and the co-creative director here at the Curated Gallery. As a gallery preparator, My job is hands-on, from dealing with handling art as it arrives, documenting everything, and making sure that it's in a pristine condition to go on our gallery floor. This is a little bit of my stuff here. They are handmade in Nepal. I designed some of them. So kind of tell you about what you will be reading. Yeah, but it has, tea. Throughout the month, we have different highlighted events going on, like 2 other dance schools, local dance schools, they're gonna come and perform. So there's a theme to whenever we do an exhibition. And especially for this one, it was not just hanging art on the walls, but it was more of like giving an immersive experience to people. So it's not just art being put up. We put a lot of thought into where the art goes and how the whole story flows for the whole exhibition.
So this exhibition is called Savor. We actually partnered with 57 Northampton, a nonprofit organization, and collaborated on this exhibition. We, at the Curated Gallery, went up to Jana, the director of 57 Northampton, and said, we're doing a Black History Month exhibition, but we want to do a spin. We want to make it mental health. And she loved the idea, and after brainstorming, came up with the name Savor.
My name is Jana Peterson, and I'm the founding executive director of 57 Northampton. We have partnered with the Curated Gallery to bring Savor. So my role with Savor was basically to give all of the mental health information and education behind the Savor exhibition. So all of the fun, boring mental health research that went into it, that was me.
We decided to title this exhibition Savor because we had to really sit back and reflect on our own identity as Black individuals in America. There's a lot of triggers and sort of assessing what that might look like, big or small. What better way to do that than through the arts?
Art is a universal language. You might not speak the same language, you might not have the same experience, the same background, that kind of thing, but there are certain artworks that will invoke just humanity in you. And we felt that if we could speak to humanity, if we could kind of start there, we can shortcut all of the trust building and stigma breaking that goes into traditional mental health conversations, and we can start at a more human level, just having a human conversation.
We've highlighted the 4 different modalities of Savor throughout this exhibition. That being marveling, something that you're in awe of, luxuriating, something that grants you physical pleasure, basking, being proud of your accomplishments, as well as Thanksgiving, being grateful for the space and where you are in life.
There's this sort of nuance that happens when it comes down to therapists or counselors. Oh, I don't need help. But in actuality, those who say they don't need help really need help the most. And so I believe Savor has that title factor where we can understand, Savor for me is something that I can enjoy. And that's the same thing mental health should be for us in our daily practice. Enjoying what it looks like to heal.
In the front, I have another piece that talks about the religious aspect of things called The Covenant. This is a larger piece that I did in Chicago my second year in the program. So I have heavy brushstrokes on this particular piece because earlier on in my practice, I was trying to figure out am I really wanting to do this sort of heavy brushstroke for the next 20, 50 years? The base is a wood frame that Susanna and Kevin found and sort of helped complete the piece. On top, we see a King James Bible. So that's what you have here, these two pieces of conversation. So we're trying to balance each other out. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Ashe.
Ashe, right?
Yes. The impact I would love for the Curated Gallery to have on the community is sort of inspiring, sowing seeds, allowing those seeds to be watered and bloom, I want the curated gallery to have a lasting impact, something that's going to last forever. I want the curated gallery, when people think about it, to be timeless. I want this to be a brand that people feel as if they are a part of a lifestyle, something that everyone should want to experience at some point in their life, because we do offer things that you don't typically see in other locations or spaces.
This is our international artist, Ibed Malek Nsumeta Salah from Cameroon, Africa. We have an artist who is here. Carson, come on down, come on down, come on down. Have you heard the saying, like, there's gold at the end of the rainbow? Sort of what that is. And so these symbols are called adinkras. Adinkra symbols are found in West Africa, usually found in the regalia, the clothing, the traditional clothing we wear.
Honestly, to be completely transparent, the team sort of created itself. And I know that's a crazy thing to say when you're talking about business, but honestly, it's been that way. It's super organic. It was sort of really easy for us to really connect, build on ideas, brainstorming, strengthening each other. You know how they say iron sharpens iron. We all come from different walks of life. We all specialize in certain skill sets, and we all have a common goal.
One of the things that posed a very unique challenge for this exhibition was one of the installation rooms, the luxuriating room. That's a live walk through forests. There's a lot of elements that went into that. Sounded great on paper, but as we implemented each step of that process, the challenges just grew more and more.
A lot of people don't realize that our gallery is usually temporary. Everything we do is from scratch, like building our walls. People coming in, they're always in an awe that we did all this.
We've had a month-long exhibit and it's been jam-packed almost every single day. So the first Saturday we had a fashion show. The second Saturday we had a literary art night / slam poetry. The third Saturday night we had a paint and sip. And then the fourth Saturday night we had a sound dance party. Not to mention, on Fridays here at the galleries, we were having live musical performances. Tuesdays, we have film screenings here at the gallery. Wednesdays are workshops, from plant workshops to literary workshops, mind and wellness workshops. We've had a mental health panel discussion here. Literally a jam-packed schedule.
We all believe in service, and so it made sense for us to come together to create a brand, a lifestyle that utilizes service for our community.
I put this on drywall, but as I was creating and working through this idea, I realized how fragile this material is, and so it does speak to the level of the conditioning that takes place with trying to feel safe.
The curated gallery for me is everything that I wanted to be, everything that I didn't get a chance to have. The curated gallery provides me that. And so we want this to be something that everyone can be able to feel and experience. And so that's what I would say to that.
My most rewarding moment is very challenging to just settle with one moment.
The most rewarding part is seeing the exhibition come together from start to finish, from the ideas to actually it being a reality.
Hands down, it's always people's reaction. It's always like how our exhibitions make them feel when they leave.
Honestly, it's creating space for everyone. No matter who you are, we've seen all walks of life and all ages, different age groups come into the space and feel like it was for them.
I can tell you maybe 30, 40 moments that are memorable to me and impacted me personally and professionally. I think the overall impactful, if I had to pick one, has been the community's response to the exhibition.
Seeing the audience and these visitors come through these doors excited about something that I had a hand in putting together, that's definitely by far the most rewarding.
and seeing the smiles as they walk out of the space or as they're actually going through, looking at the art, just sort of like asking questions for themselves, reframing their own personal thoughts.
Like, because a lot of times people make deep connections with certain pieces of art.
How it's impacted, changed people's lives. It's been just an overwhelming, joyful experience.
It's a beautiful thing, and I get joy out of that because of not just the work that was put into it, but the message that we're trying to get across.
All right, if you could describe the exhibit in one word, what would it be and why?
This exhibition, in one word, I would say immersive. We created this exhibition where people could come and experience an art gallery in a different way. So I hope that people have been able to experience it differently like we wanted to.
So if I can describe this exhibition in one word, I think it would be perpetual. Like it's ever changing for each individual that walks into the space.
First thing that came to my mind was savor. When I think of savor personally, I think of chewing my favorite food and trying to not let go of that taste.
This Savor exhibition is all about mental health. So the biggest thing that I would love for the audience to take away from this is what does it look like for them to be able to utilize some of the things that they picked up in the space, take it back home, and then also share it with someone else.
The word I would choose is revolutionary. And it's because usually when we're talking about mental health, specifically Black mental health, we're talking about the suffering and the injustices that we've had to endure and how we are resilient in spite of, which is a very important perspective. I think that if people really take the themes and the messages that were shared in this gallery, I think that not only will we see a different type of activism going forward, I think we'll see a lot of different health results as well if we can actually take this and be intentional with what we learned here today.
It's so good, right? Can I get the director Fitz as well as Julian and Jana? I believe they're both here as well. Can we get you guys all to come up here? My favorite thing about this doc, when I got the link and turned it on, was just as soon as like the first frame hits and the music hits, and you're like, oh, I'm in for something special. I'd love to start with you. There's so much going on here with both interviews, miking up the talent as well. The great, just shots of the city, making me feel like I'm in that art space. What was that process like on both the pre-production development side as well as the post side? Since a lot of times for docs, the story can really show itself in the edit.
Well, what you're looking at is 1 year worth of work. We started in January last year. I was introduced to the film probably like in December. We spoke about it, and we just took it from there. So post-production was probably, me personally, I do a lot of things in my head because I shoot with the edit in mind because I edited it. So I kind of had everything in mind. We sat down, I kind of discussed what my vision was, and over time, we kind of just shaped it, and it came together.
Man, 1 year. Yeah, I think it shows. Man, it's a great project. For you guys, I wasn't sure if you guys have been a part of a documentary before, but I was really curious from your perspectives. What was it like? Did you guys know each other beforehand? Did he approach, randomly? How did you guys feel about that?
I believe Fitz was introduced to the curated through Julian, actually. I believe that was the connection. But yeah, I was brought in as the mental health kind of background to it. I thought it was a really, really novel idea, a really, really great opportunity to showcase mental health and talk about mental health in a different way that's not so polarizing and scary. And so I really feel, being able to show mental health and talk about mental health in this kind of unusual medium, it was really, really incredible to see how that was received.
I believe for me, it was more about the intricacies behind the documentation. Usually, as the gallery director and the artist, it's very hard for me to stop and document process. And so it was very interesting to see how we can align, especially when there's so many moving parts happening in the space, but also how he's allowing his documentation research to come together to basically pull the ideas that we have with forming the thing, and he's able to execute it in a different way that I was never expecting creatively. So I really enjoyed seeing things from his lens and his perspective.
This question is for all of you guys, and I apologize. I had a bunch more, but I know that the hour's running a bit late. For all of you guys, when was the point in the process where it was invisible, where you weren't like thinking about a guy following you around with the camera, maybe wearing a microphone? Can you just share a bit about that on both sides, where everything started really begin clicking?
Well, first of all, before I say it, I really want to thank them for being so patient because, like I said, it took a year and they really just allowed me to kind of just create. All of the ideas I had more ideas. Some stuff came together, like the mic. I really wanted to, yes, interview them, but I wanted the audience almost, when you watch SportsCenter and they mic the talent or the mic, I wanted to have that like inside story so you could really see what it's like from their perspective. So I had an opportunity to mic every person, so while they were interacting, so it was real. So it's almost like a documentary, but it also had like a reality TV kind of feel to it. I wanted to bring that into the documentary as well.
Yeah. I will piggyback off of that or echo what you're saying. There were times where I forgot the mic was on and I'm having like just a genuine conversation with collectors or first-time visitors into the gallery space, and I got to see the reflectiveness on film. And I'm like, wow, it's really conveying through the screen that this is a genuine connection, and just the fact that you allowed us to just really be who we are as individuals. But not only that, the way you sort of just navigated with how you're structuring the documentary process, it was very amazing to see that. And it felt very seamless. It didn't feel like it was forced. It felt like it was very natural, and you knew how to respond when there were conflicts, if there were any at all. But when there were moments where there may have been some sort of tension with the production, you knew how to quickly resolve those moments. And I really appreciate that. It makes my job a lot easier as well, so, yeah.
For me, I would say never. I was constantly aware. But, I think I just did the interview where I was talking directly to Cameron. So, obviously I was on camera that entire time. I was right there talking to him. But it was a very comfortable process because, working with Fitz is just a very, you could probably tell as it got more into the interview that I was getting a lot more comfortable. It felt more like a conversation as opposed to being mic'd up and being recorded.
I think that goes to you as a director also, like just kind of setting that tone even in the midst of, of all this chaos and action and stuff like that. Can we just give our hand for our filmmakers one more time?
And shout out to Steve Benson and Isaiah. Jaden is not here. They really came through because, like I said, it was for a whole month. And it was every other night. So between the three of us, we were able to distribute the shooting. So it wasn't just me. But they really came through, and everything kind of looked like it was shot by one person. Yeah. So I'm really happy for that. We were able to discuss and go through our plans in terms of what we wanted to shoot each night, what we wanted to capture and focus on. Because, like I said, as you saw, it was a lot happening, and we kind of had to have a game plan going in.
Are any of those people here? I know you said Isaiah's not here. Somebody?
Steve Benson's here. Like, he's been on all of the projects tonight. So shout out to Steve Benson. Yeah, that's my right-hand guy right there. Yep. Like, anything, like, he's one of the hardest working person that I know. And I mean, shout out to Kyle, all of the other guys, but definitely Steve Benson has been like a trooper, you know, and he graduates this year. So, guys, if you need somebody, like, go hire him.
Thank you guys so much again. Thank you guys.
Give it up to our filmmakers. Give it up to our filmmakers. I don't know who's winning awards tonight, but I do think this panel wins the award for best outfits. No offense, Stevenson. Your jacket was cool. Your jacket was cool. So, I've been looking at you. I know what you're thinking. These are some good films. But you're thinking, yeah, I could do that. I could be a film critic. Anybody have Letterboxd in here? Letterboxd? Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are, I can be a film critic. Well, this is your chance. We are a nation of democracy for now. So this is your opportunity to decide what is the best film. This is the award for audience choice. So before we transition to our reception outside, where we'll close this evening with the other awards of the night, I implore you to take out your phones, QR code. If you're sitting next to someone that doesn't know how the phone works, teach them all the things. And point it at this and vote for the film that you believe should be the Audience Choice Award. Directly after that, I'm going to pray, and then we're going to transition outside where we'll receive you at our Award Green Room Festival. So we've had a good time so far tonight, and we're going to keep the fun going. But as you vote, let's pray so that we can transition. Please bow your heads and close your eyes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for gifting us with the power of creativity, the opportunity to tell stories, and the opportunity to glorify you through themes, art, and displays of culture. Please be with the filmmakers, and please be with all of us as we learn, challenge ourselves, and take in these new perspectives that we're learning through these films. In your name we pray, amen. Vote, and then I'll meet you outside.